Huh. Apologies, that took longer than usual, but hey. So before I begin, I decided for Pinball Opinion episodes, I might start showcasing boards that I don't actually own. So there might be random points where I'm just straight up cut off from doing things. Oh right, I forgot the bottom board works like that. And Black Hole was not only a really cool board for just... You son of a bitch. Not only a cool board just for how innovative it is, but also because I guess it's the closest thing to fitting we'll get right now. So, anyone who doesn't really give a shit about Kingdom Hearts, feel free to completely ignore this video of mine, as I'm basically going to be, well, to anyone who's read the title or the little doohickey at the bottom, yeah, that's a bit self-explanatory this time around. Also, anyone who particularly likes Roxas as a character, get ready to hate me.
Oh boy.
Because I'm going to tell a rather inconvenient truth about the series, as far as okay, you're good, Pinball. An inconvenient truth about the series as far as I can tell. Of course, there's a chance that I'm totally wrong. I will probably reiterate this fact, a few times across this video, but there's a good chance I'm right. And I'm obviously banking on the thought that I'm going to be right. I'm also probably going to ignore the little comment sidebar during a good portion of this video, just because, like all of Tetsuya Nomura's writing, it's a bit complicated. Because of course it is. Thanks, Nomura. So hefty spoilers for... Oh yeah, also 11th Ancestor is talking in my ear, and therefore your guys' ear. So he might interject and invade my train of thought now and then. Major spoilers for anyone who hasn't played Kingdom Hearts 2 or Days, although I'll be talking less about Days because I really, really don't care about Days, even though it's where we get most of our information about Roxas. Although I like it better than freaking Coded, at least. So basically, the long story short of it is Roxas is the nobody of our faithful protag. He looks almost identical to someone mildly, or only mildly related for convoluted reasons that I'm not going to try and pretend I understand, because there's a difference between understanding the convoluted writing and knowing it. And at the end of 2, he basically gets absorbed into Sora. And in Dream Drop Distance, him and Sora have a conversation that basically comes down to Sora going, "No, you can be a real boy too, except I kind of can't." No, it's okay, I'll find a way to make you a real boy." No, it's your job to make everyone else real boys and girls." "Yeah, but I'll get you while I'm at it." "Well, okay then, sure, why not? I'm not gonna stop you." So, because of that, there's a lot of speculation of, well, okay, let's say Roxas does come back as a real person, as that seems to be a part of the agenda. Well, first of all, Dream Drop Distance proves that what Sora wants and what he actually gets isn't exactly the same thing, as he kind of kerfuckles himself within like an hour of gameplay after having this conversation. Which is probably more like 10 minutes after having that conversation, in game time, because good job, faithful protag, for reminding me that you're a dumbass. Although it's not necessarily his fault, but more convoluted writing explains that nonsense. So, the way I see it, if Roxas comes back as his own character, and this is the part where everyone hates me, it's a no-win situation on his end. So, the way I see it, there are 4 likely outcomes for his fate in Kingdom Hearts. 1, for whatever reason, he doesn't come back. Actually, nothing changes. Maybe Sora has a small emo moment over I couldn't save everyone. Oh goddamn well. No, I reached the scoring limit. Okay. Nothing's stopping me from going back in, though. So, situation number 2. He does come back, but surprise, surprise, there's a reason he looks so similar to Ventus. Roxas needs to get sacked to wake Ventus up or some such nonsense. Obviously, this is a Pyrrhic victory because, well, Ventus is genuinely important, Roxas is not. Therefore, obviously, Ventus is going to get the priority, as reviving Ventus is a primary goal. Making Roxas into a real boy is a secondary goal. If anything, it's a nice bonus. Ball, where? Ooh, ball came back to me. Now, that's, in my opinion, the most likely outcome, if he comes back. Now, okay, let's say Roxas does come back, and he gets a Keyblade. Woo! We get the Roxas we all know and love. Except that also comes with a problem. 'Cause you see, Roxas doesn't technically own a Keyblade, because like all things in Kingdom Hearts, that too is a plot point that is weird and convoluted. Here's basically how the Keyblade works. Every dude gets 1 Keyblade. This is fine. Before anyone calls on me about Sora getting 2 in his drive forms, and Roxas having 2 normally, I'm getting to that. So, everyone gets 1 Keyblade normally, and this 1 Keyblade takes the form of whatever the fuck happens to be fitting for his protagonist. Honestly, seems kind of random to me, but I'm sure that there's some deep symbolic role to the shape of each Keyblade, except that I'm fairly certain Sora's is just a generic default model, because otherwise we would have Oathkeeper as his default from Kingdom Hearts 2 onward, but hey, whatever. Or maybe Dream Sword? No, that's not a Keyblade, ignore me. I will happily fanboy over the dream weapons in Kingdom Hearts 1 another time. So, now, there are kind of 2 ways to get a Keyblade. Either some weird ritual happens to you, which is how Riku and Kairi got theirs, is the same weird ritual, although with Kairi it was arguably accidental, but another convoluted plot point I'm not getting into this video. I will happily do a wonderful breakdown of stuff like that another time if asked, but no thank you. There are different Kingdom Hearts themed YouTubers who could probably explain it better than I can. Although admittedly I have little faith in Gamer Joint, even though he's definitely the most active of the YouTube Kingdom Hearts community, but that's like half the reason why I don't have much faith in him. People who post daily videos, I get a bit suspicious of, with quality of content. Either way. The other way you get a Keyblade is you straight up jack someone else's. This is why Roxas has a Keyblade. Because, you see, he does not own a Keyblade. He does not have a Keyblade linked to him. the reason why he loses access to his Keyblade in Days for a little bit is because Shion jacked his Keyblade that he jacked from Sora. And as Sora's Keyblade can't be given to both Roxas and Shion at the same time, Shion got priority on account of being the last person to have the bloody damn thing. Now, the reason why Roxas had 2 Keyblades for a while is because he also jacked Ventus's, because Ven's heart lives inside Sora, because Sora has the spiritual equivalent of kleptomania or some shit. No, seriously, if you ever want a headache, try and figure out how many people live inside literally live inside Sora's heart at any given time. Off the top of my head, I can count 4. And I'm pretty sure there's a 5th one. Just not entirely sure who it is off the top of my head. Of course, we're excluding Sora himself for obvious reasons. So, at one point in time, Roxas had 2 Keyblades despite owning 0 because he straight up stole shit from people who are in a coma. Good job, Roxas. Way to be our faithful sub-protag. Though sub-protag is more Riku, but moving on. So, here's the thing. If Sora is awake, his Keyblade is quite clearly being used, as we could plainly see from the Kingdom Hearts 3 trailers we have gotten and are going to continue to get for a while now, until it comes out. At least if Nomura is serious about showing off all the Disney worlds. Now, and if Ven's going to be awake at some point, I'm going to assume here that he's going to wake up with his Keyblade in tow, as that would be kind of weird if a Guardian of Light didn't exactly have the light stick. Ergo, the question becomes, where would Roxas's Keyblade come from? Because remember guys, he doesn't own one. And both of his options are kind of off the table here. So, Roxas comes back, and he gets a Keyblade. Ergo, either Sora or Ven loses a Keyblade, which is a net negative to that whole Guardian of Light nonsense. Which leads me to the 4th and final likely possibility. Roxas comes back and is kind of useless. Because maybe I could see it where he keeps his weird light magic nonsense from his limit breaks in Days or when you fight him in Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. And there's 2 sides to that. On one hand, every single person we've seen that has light magic has a Keyblade. Ergo, I'd like to believe that the Keyblade is kind of a necessary component to have light magic. Because light magic users, Sora, Keyblade. Ventus, Keyblade. Roxas, Keyblade, kind of. Mickey, Keyblade. Ericus, definitely a Keyblade. Now, the other side of that is that maybe the Keyblade is just the catalyst, but not actually necessary. However, that comes down to how much of gameplay is canonical. Because in the fight against him in Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, there is a mechanic where you can steal his Keyblades back. Which limits him to only using that very same light magic for a little bit. So maybe he keeps his light magic and he goes from being a high-speed, close-range bruiser that he has been in previous games and relegated to kind of weird mage. Excuse me. Now, but hold on, Deexo, I already hear some people saying that Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix boss fight had it so that Roxas had both of his Keyblades, while Sora also has a Keyblade. Doesn't that contradict a previous point of yours? No. Actually, it doesn't contradict it at all. And for one simple reason. Technically, that fight didn't happen. And I don't say that in the same way that Shion isn't technically real, in that canonically it kind of got erased or something like that. I mean, consider the following. Before the fight starts, Sora, Donald, and Goofy are wandering around trying to figure out what the holy fuck this new world is. After the fight, Donald and Goofy just kind of comment that Sora poofed, and then came back and started talking as if something happened that clearly didn't happen. Plus, if you notice the floor of that fight, that's clearly one of the stations in Dive to the Heart. Which particular station, hard to say, but definitely one of them. So, I would say that fight happened in his head, but that was more like the really, really adversive and, no, not adversive, adversarial version of a soul-seeking journey. Which means it doesn't actually break canon for both Roxas and Sora to have Keyblades during that fight, because Roxas is still jacking Sora's Keyblade inside Sora's heart. So the Keyblade isn't physically manifesting, ergo, it's not actually being taken. And if that sounds like some mental backflips, oh, don't you worry, it actually requires more mental backflips to have Roxas manifest with his own Keyblade, with one possible exception. Oh, here's the best case scenario. Roxas somehow does come back. For some reason, he isn't required to wake Ventus up. He still does not initially grab a Keyblade, because Sora needs his Keyblade, Ventus needs his Keyblade. Makes sense. Now there's one Keyblade user that most people tend to forget hasn't been a Keyblade user for very long, and that is Lee. Seriously, why are these names so weird? It's spelt Leia. Why is it pronounced Lee? Either way, so Axel is now an honorary Keyblade user as of the last, 5 minutes of Dream Drop distance. He gains a Keyblade right after it would have been useful, actually. It's... Never mind that his response to it is kind of funny, since he's just like, oh, hey, there's a thing here. Wow, that's nice. Well, everyone else is flipping out over him having a Keyblade. Oh, did I mention at the start of this video that there would be Dream Drop distance spoilers? I probably should have mentioned that. Either way, so let's say Lee doesn't give a fuck about his Keyblade and just kind of gives it to Roxas because, hey, you actually use this weird thing, I don't. I'm quite fine with my chakrams. So, boom, Roxas is back, has a Keyblade. Lee continues to not have a Keyblade because, as far as I'm concerned, Lee having a Keyblade is completely inconsequential. Now, let's say for some reason Shion also comes back, although that's going to require a master level gymnast to do the mental backflips on how the hell that works, since she actually doesn't freaking exist anymore in canon because she was literally erased from existence. That's why no one remembers her 5 minutes after she dies. I don't get it either. Shion is the entire reason I hate Days' story. Oh yes, another point towards Kingdom Hearts fans hating me. I don't think Shion is a good character, and I think her story is dumb. I don't like Days in general. Let me have mission mode without any of the weird I have to do story nonsense to keep playing missions, and I would be happy. All I want to do is run around the different worlds as Marluxia, reaping the shit out of some Heartless. But no, I have to deal with whatever the hell Roxas is doing. Either way, so let's say Shion comes back. Well then, Shion comes back, that's all nice and happy. And she doesn't have a Keyblade either. In fact, if Lee gives his Keyblade to Roxas, Sora and Ventus keep their Keyblade. Well, Xion doesn't have a bloody damn Keyblade. And off the top of my head, she never learns any of that weird light magic because I seriously question that entire final boss sequence. So, Xion is both useless and ultimately irrelevant. And hell, since this is a best case scenario, let's say for whatever freaking reason, Naminé pops out of Kairi. Wonderful. We now have all of our lovely little nobodies in a corner, and in fact, the four of them go into a corner and stay entirely irrelevant for the rest of the series. Unless some weird thing happens where they're genuinely required. So, that's our best case scenario. Roxas gets his harem. He gets a Keyblade because Lee doesn't really need a Keyblade. And then nothing. They don't matter. Seriously, Roxas... play Days, play Kingdom Hearts 2, Roxas' story is complete. Maybe there's some weird thing that happens where he becomes relevant again. But there's really only two ways his fate can go. Either he gets his happy ending and ends up being totally irrelevant, or Roxas is absolutely screwed, like all logic should say he is, and him being completely screwed is a genuine plot point, and actually acts towards some kind of character development for Sora, which in my opinion he desperately needs, because his character development has gone completely downhill since Kingdom Hearts 2. Seriously, give me back my my naive but oddly philosophical Kingdom Hearts 1 Sora. Even if he can't get the naivety stuff back, don't give me the arrogant airhead we had in 2. I didn't like that. Seriously. He was a cool character in 1. In 2, don't know. So now that I've sufficiently solidified just about every Kingdom Hearts fan in my fan base who actually watches my goddamn videos to hate me, I'm gonna finish up this ball and have a Q&A session for anyone who wants me to clarify on something. Because I kind of went through a lot of information with a lot of weird side tangents of me getting distracted. So yeah. Anyone has anything to ask? Now is the time while you have my attention. Unless 11th Ancestor is something he wants to pop off vocally about this whole ordeal.
I've got nothing.
Nah, that's fair. In that case, I will give Regal like about a minute to type something up if he has something, since I think it's just you and him in chat right now.
It is.
And if not, I will sit here and wait until the angry responses come in about me being a pessimist. Because I know that there are people who watch my YouTube channel who are giant fans of Kingdom Hearts and likes Roxas. And boy, am I going to get letters.
Probably.
Oh yeah, also I totally forgot to mention that if this best case scenario happens... Oh! I totally forgot that that was a plot point, actually.
Oh.
God, I hate Days. Okay, yeah, the whole draining Roxas's existence That's why she doesn't exist anymore, is because she kind of gave all of that back. And it actually, the best part about Shion is the fact that she harbors so much lost what's the word? So many lost opportunities, just because if Vexen could do that, I wonder what he could still do since Evan's back. But yeah, another weird point in my best case scenario is, Naminé's altering powers are actually kind of meaningless after Chain of Memories. So, or more after the tutorial of Kingdom Hearts 2, it's kind of meaningless, because she can only technically change Sora's, I believe. It's unconfirmed if she can do that to anyone else.
Sora's and those connected to him.
So in theory, we could have a weird Naminé Ex Machina where it's like, oh, well, so Vanitas is living in Sora, and I can follow Vanitas' chain to Xemnas, and what's that? Your, big nasty plan changed? I don't know why that happened. Regal, I think that's probably the most likely situation. Especially since Sora has already dabbled in stuff like that in gameplay, between both Kingdom Hearts 2's Anti-Form and that weird boss fight against him in Dream Drop Distance, where it's Sora, but it's not, and okay, Dream Drop Distance. The more I remember about your story, the more I remember that was just a fever dream game. Oh, God. Were you about to say something before I cut you off?
Not at all.
Okay. So close. But yeah. Considering it's about a half hour in, and I've pretty much covered the points I've wanted to cover, I think I'm going to end it off after this round. Unless some random comment just comes in out of nowhere and keeps me distracted. But hey, we'll see. Your comment got cut off there, Regal. Was there a trailer where we saw Sora? Oh yeah, there was. I really hope Sora goes through a similar character development than what Ericus did then, where he starts going into denial about how the darkness is bad. And then probably Riku slaps his shit because darkness is bad, huh? Then what's the thing I've been using to bail your ass out for the past 3 games? Did it not on your end? On my end it did. I blame weird character limits. Actually, this, as much as I like having this UI so I don't have to have like another thing in the same room as me just to read comments, it's kinda clunky, I'm not gonna lie. Ugh. Oh. So that is an option. Okay. Good to know that this board is weird. Oh well. Boop. Either way. I was going to end stream like 2 minutes ago anyway, so that's fine, Regal. I say for the third time after this round, I'm gonna close. But yeah, that's basically my general thoughts on what the hell is going to go on with Roxas, because holy crap, he is a far more popular character than he has any right to be in my opinion, but hey, it's not like I can't see why he is popular.